Hello, I am going mobile here as I take the camera off the tripod mount to show you a new project I'm working on. I just love saving my rolled edges from Bullseye, and I have this large black frame that was on clearance that I bought from a hobby shop. I think it was a custom frame somebody had made, didn't work, and so I always check out the stock frames and pick this one up real cheap. So it's a nice good size. It's 18 by 10, and I thought doing a panel with nothing but rolled edges and mounting it in that frame could look pretty cool. So I've got a sheet of white back there that's going to become part of my background so that these colors pop more. I've got some peacock, some clear, some opaline, all kinds of different colors that I'm going to play with. Lots of irids in here for visual interest. So all I'm going to do is cut my base sheet and put it on my kiln shelf, and then cut these if I need to, stack them, arrange them kind of how I want, and do a full fuse. Now I'm sure there's going to have to be cold working in order to get this into the frame correctly, but this is going to be a relatively easy project as it relates to just getting something put in that uses these gorgeous rolled edges. So stay tuned to see what it looks like when it's in the kiln. Okay, so here's the layup in the kiln. I decided to go with all white and peacock. There is a piece of clear gold irid in there, and there is a piece of opaline that I think might look cool against that peacock. And so I've got my base piece down on the kiln shelf. Hang on, let me move this out of the way. Get down low here. So I've got my base piece down on the kiln shelf that is the full size of the frame. Then I started at the top and just stacked. And then here at the very bottom, it was a little slippery, so I put just a piece of kiln shelf that I had cut up into dams with a little bit of fiber paper just to prevent it from slipping or rolling. So I'm not too worried about, significant reinforcement of that dam. It's just a little bit of extra protection. So this will go in full fuse with a really long bubble squeeze because I've got lots of air trapped in there, and hopefully it should come out looking real good. Now, if I do get a big bubble, that's okay. This is an abstract piece and it might look kind of cool when it's framed. So let's decide on a kiln schedule and go for it. Okay, so here it is out of the kiln. Because of the dam that was down here, it got some kind of spiky bits on it, so I took it to the grinder and just cut off or ground off the hurty parts, because I don't want to bleed out here in the studio, so I just did a quick hit of that. And so I'm generally pleased with this. As you know, it just never translates in video the way it is in person. So this piece of clear is wicked cool. There's some really cool depth that happened there. This is the opaline. Look how cool that turned with the opaline and then the peacock through it. I think in hindsight, so I did do full fuse, like good old, really good full fuse. So it's relatively flat. I got a little bubble action here, but nothing that came to the surface. In hindsight, I think I'm a guy that likes texture. You've probably noticed that in a lot of my other videos. So as a piece of art, I think I would have preferred this to have more texture. I should have done more of a, contour fuse or something that would have allowed these ripples to still stand off. But let me see here. I'll zoom out. I think I'll zoom out there. So this is roughly, it has some cold working that would need to be done. This is roughly what it would look like in the kiln. Sorry for the really bad glare. In the frame. And I think that that's cool, but I don't know. Sometimes I can't leave well enough alone, and I think it could be cooler. So now what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to add some other elements to this and fire it again and kind of see what happens. Like this may become now my background or my base layer that I will build on, and fire it at more of a contour fuse so that I get more texture. So I don't know where I'm taking this next, but stay tuned and we'll find out together. If you watch my videos, you know that this grinder did not come with this brush like this and is not really meant to be used this way, but I made a modification. There's a link at the very top here if you want to check that one out. Okay, so I took this piece to the grinder or to my flat lap just to even up the edges a little bit, which allows me to get it into the frame. Now I am going to go back into the kiln for another firing, and I'll show you why in a little bit. So it may spread out a little bit more, but right now it fits well. If I have to, do a little bit more cold working to it, I can. So I have decided to continue to add elements to this and just cross my fingers that I like it. So I have some chopped up cane from Lori Moreno that she sold during a scrap sale. So this is her scrap stuff, which she doesn't have very often, but I have some, and it's in the right color scheme. And I think that would look really cool all over this when it melts down, when it fuses in. I also have some confetti from Tabitha at Glass by Tabitha. I have no idea what colors these are. Kind of looks like a peacocky kind of color with a little bit of white. I think that's perfect for this. So I'm gonna break this up a little bit more and kind of confetti all over. And then I also have from Tabitha, you've seen me feature this a lot before, this touch of dichroic clear vitrograph. I'm gonna put a whole bunch of that all over this thing as well. And then I'm gonna take it in for a fuse. I will not do a full fuse because I do want a little bit of texture on it. So I'll decide what my temperature is. I'm thinking somewhere in the neighborhood of 1375, 1400. I'll go back and look at my notes on previous firings and make a decision on it and then fire it. And we'll see what it looks like when it comes out then. I may continue to add more to it, but for now, these are the elements I'm gonna add to give it a little bit of dimension and something else to see when it's in that frame. Okay, I am so thrilled with how this looks. I'm really very, very pleased. So there's a little bit of texture. Let's see here. Can you see that? Yeah, you can see how it didn't fully fuse all the way in, perfectly flat in. So there's some texture left to it. The irid looks awesome. I did a little layer of clear powder over the whole thing, which shined it up nice, kind of trapped that irid in there. The touch of dichroic vitrograph is really cool. You can see some of the dichro in there. That's kind of makes another additional sparkle. Those confetti pieces from Tabitha, the cane from Lori, it's all amazing. So I also decided once I pulled this out that I thought it would look best in a white frame, not a black frame. So I spray painted that frame that I had. I've put a hanger wire in the back of it, and it doesn't quite fit. There's just a tiny little bit on this far right hand side that needs to come off, so I'm gonna take it over to the grinder and do that, and then I'm going to mount this in my frame. I use these offset clips. You can see those. I found these in the framing department at Hobby Lobby, and they're perfect for this. I put a little piece of rubber, like a little rubber door stopper under there, and now that piece is in there nice and secure, I'll flip it over and take pictures and show you what it looks like. Okay, here it is in its final frame. I am just delighted with this piece. I love the texture, I love the different elements, the movement, the confetti and vitrograph from Tabitha, the amazing cane from Lori Moreno. I'm in love. The peacock glass is awesome. Love rolled edges. Good all around. If you enjoyed this, please make sure that you subscribe to my page, comment, and let me know what you think. Have a good one, everybody. Bye-bye.